The night was suffocating, as if the air itself held its breath, and every corner of the room whispered secrets of dread. It was during such a time that Sarah found herself wide awake, staring into the abyss of darkness. She felt a weight upon her chest, a grip of fear that chilled her spine. The room, normally her sanctuary, morphed into a stage for unseen horrors. Little did she know, this was just the beginning of a journey into the depths of the unknown where shadows danced and nightmares whispered. It was an ordinary evening when Sarah, a college student balancing studies and part-time work, decided to take a break from her academic grind. She had heard whispers about sleep paralysis dailies shared over late-night coffee or in hushed conversations during sleepovers. Yet, she always considered these stories as mere urban legends, fabrications of overactive imaginations. After a long day, she curled up in her bed, her mind racing with thoughts of deadlines and responsibilities. As the clock struck midnight, the weight of exhaustion finally pulled her into a deep slumber. But the tranquility of sleep shattered suddenly. Sarah woke up, heart racing, and her surroundings felt eerily different. She couldn't move, her body trapped in a prison of paralysis. Panic surged through her as her eyes darted around the dimly lit room. There, in the corner, was a silhouetted dark, looming figure that seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy. She wanted to scream, to wake from this nightmare, but her voice was silenced, caught in the grip of fear. The figure approached slowly, almost curiously, and Sarah's breath quickened. It wore a hat, a fedora, perhaps, and its features were indistinguishable. Was it a figment of her imagination, a trick of the mind conjured by the terror of sleep paralysis? Or was it something more sinister, a being from another realm? As the shadow neared, Sarah felt an unnatural heaviness on her chest. The sensation was akin to being pinned down by invisible hands. The air thickened, stifling her cries for help. Memories of those late-night tailies flooded her mind, the stories of the Hat Man, a malevolent entity that tormented the unsuspecting. In that moment of terror, Sarah was confronted with a choice: succumb to the fear or confront the shadow that haunted her. The phenomenon of shadow people transcends mere anecdote. It is woven into the very fabric of human experience. Across the globe, individuals recount similar encounters, dark figures that creep into their periphery, evoking terror that feels both familiar and alien. Cultures have long documented these specters, from the leprechauns of Celtic folklore to the Islamic jinn. Each account, though unique, resonates with shared fear, a testament to humanity's collective psyche. Dr. Robert Bodish, a psychologist studying sleep phenomena, suggests that sleep paralysis may be a merging of consciousness and REM sleep, a state ripe for vivid hallucinations. It is during these episodes that individuals often sense an oppressive presence, a being that invokes primal fear. The blend of reality and nightmare blurs, leading to a terrifying awakening that leaves lasting impressions. Concentrated on her left index finger, willing it to move. Slowly, painfully, she felt a flicker of movement. It was enough. As the shadow flickered in and out of her vision, she fought back. "You're not real," she murmured, the words barely escaping her lips. "You can't hurt me." And with that, the shadow hesitated, retreating into the depths of the darkened room. When Sarah finally awoke, drenched in sweat and trembling, she was filled with a mix of relief and residual dread. The experience was both terrifying and strangely liberating. She had faced the shadow and emerged stronger, yet the memory lingered like a haunting melody. In the days that followed, Sarah delved into research, exploring the realms of sleep paralysis and the psychology behind shadow people. She discovered that her experience was not isolated. Countless others had faced the same entity, the same fear. Through forums and online communities, she connected with individuals who shared their encounters, each story echoing her own. The shared vulnerability created a bond, a collective understanding of the unseen terror that lurked in the night. As Sarah navigated this new landscape of knowledge, she began to see the shadow people through a different lens. They were not just manifestations of fear, they represented something deeper, a confrontation with the unknown. The stories, the cultural narratives, they all converged into a singular experience that was both personal and universal. In her quest for understanding, she learned about coping mechanisms, strategies to combat the paralyzing fear. Lucid dreaming, meditation, and sleep hygiene became her allies. Each night, she prepared herself, transforming her bedroom from a chamber of dread into a sanctuary of peace. One fateful night, the shadow returned, but this time, Sarah was ready. She recognized the figure and understood its purpose. "I'm not afraid of you anymore," she declared, her voice steady and unwavering. The shadow paused, as if taken aback by her confidence. Instead of retreating, it lingered, its form shifting. The weight on her chest lessened, and for the first time, she felt a semblance of empathy. The shadow was not just a harbinger of fear. It was a reflection of her struggles, a manifestation of her anxieties and doubts. In that moment of connection, Sarah realized that to conquer her fear, she needed to embrace it. Instead of fighting, she accepted the shadow as part of her journey, an integral piece of her story that pushed her toward growth. As the weeks passed, Sarah continued to encounter the shadow, but each meeting was less intimidating. The darkness no longer held the same power over her. She learned to control her responses, mastering the art of lucid dreaming and slowly transforming her fears into a canvas of creativity. With every brushstroke, she painted the shadows that once terrified her into a tapestry of resilience and strength. Her journey became one of empowerment. She shared her story with friends and family, encouraging others to confront their own fears. The conversations often led to laughter and shared stories, transforming the chilling experiences into moments of connection. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Sarah sat in her room, feeling a profound sense of peace. The shadow had become a mere whisper in the back of her mind, a reminder of the challenges she had overcome. The darkness no longer